Hello and welcome to Ex-Witness Awake. I'm your host, Jonathan. I hope you're doing well today. I meant to do a recording last night, but I made the mistake of petting my daughter's cat and rubbing my eye, and I actually am allergic to cats, so my eye became this weird red, bloodshot, bulgy, goopy thing, and yeah, it was not good, not good for video. Anyway, the reason I am recording this today is because I want to explain what my community post was that I put out. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. I can't recall. But in any case, not everybody is aware. The governing body and the elders their official policy is that they're not going to disfellowship you for talking to your disfellowshipped immediate family. I don't know if that would also go to your extended family, but in any case, definitely your kids or your parents or what have you who might be disfellowshipped, you can talk to them. But because of the culture that is beat into them all the time, that's what they think is going to happen. They guilt people into thinking that that is the rule, that is what Jehovah wants, you can't talk to your family. Future Jonathan here. Something I think it's very important for me to mention, but I forgot to discuss in the video, is the reason that the culture is so in favor of shunning even family members is because they make it an issue of loyalty. It's all about loyalty to Jehovah and loyalty to the organization. And since they talk so much about the need to limit your association with family members, that people feel that it is, in fact, the policy that you're going to get in trouble with that. Officially, you don't get in trouble, but we'll talk about that more as the video continues. But officially, you can. There are examples you can find, such as what I'm going to post in here now. So the person on the screen is a lawyer who is a Jehovah's Witness and who was appearing before a Canadian judge in the Supreme Court. And he talks about the shunning and what their policy is.
A committee of 4 elders met with him with the goal of spiritual restoration. They wanted to have him repent from his sins. As the meeting progressed with Mr. Wall, the elders came to the decision that Mr. Wall was not sufficiently repentant for his disgraceful conduct, and the congregation elders took the decision to disfellowship him. That word is used by Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses don't use the word shun or shunning. They refer to it as disfellowship, disfellowshipping, disfellowshipped, because that really gives the sense of what's taking place within this particular religious community. Disfellowship literally means no further spiritual fellowship with the individual. And as I point out, sorry, Chief Justice, as I point out at paragraph 22 of my factum, the nature of the relationship then of a disfellowship person is not completely shunned. The disfellowship person is able to come into the congregation, to the congregation meetings. They're able to attend in the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. They're able to sit wherever they like. They can sing the spiritual songs with the congregation. As far as their family members are concerned, normal family relations continue with the exception of spiritual fellowship. And the door is not closed to Mr. Wall either. The person who is disfellowshipped can, after a period of time, ask to be reinstated in the congregation, because that's the purpose of the discipline.
So that's what they would officially say to governments. And when you see these PID, this public Information Department, when you see those ads that they put out, those little puff pieces, when the shunning does come up, they say that, it's fine. You can go to the meetings and you can sing the songs and everything's fine. It's a personal decision of the people whether they're going to shun them or not. Now, because of the culture that's involved, there is a risk of some soft shunning if word were to get out that you were repeatedly talking to family members who were the disfellowship or disassociated. But really, that's nobody's business, and you should be able to do that without anybody knowing anyway. But in any case, this article from the Sheboygan Press, it quotes Robert Hendricks saying that we don't shun. Shunning would be cutting someone off and pretending they don't exist, and that's just not the case. Elders are encouraged to stay in touch with disfellowship people and to approach them if they see them in the public or at a meeting. Hendricks said disfellowshipping is an act of love and considered a form of shepherding. But of course, they say they don't shun, but they do. Shunning of non-family is one thing, but shunning of family members, that should always be at the discretion of the family. If they're saying that to the media and they're saying that to the judges and government officials, then that is their policy, yeah? And their secret handbook, the Shepherd the Flock book, in that book, you're not going to find anywhere where it says that if you talked, let's say, for instance, in my case, if my mother were to talk to me, she's not going to be disfellowshipped for doing that if someone found out. If it got to the elder's attention that she was talking to me on a regular basis, the worst that could happen is if she's a pioneer, which I believe she is, she's in a Spanish congregation, the worst that could happen is they might ask her to step down from being a pioneer. Now, that's bad if that's your jam to have that privilege, but they can't kick you out. They can't take away all your family and stuff. Besides, don't talk about it. If it comes up in conversation, I talked to my son, the disfellowshipped one. You just don't do that. So people need to be aware of this because I believe evidence says that almost all Jehovah's Witnesses aren't aware of this. They just think that that's going to happen to them. They could be disfellowshipped for talking to their family when it's something that could happen to you if you talk to someone else. If you just talk to a random brother or sister who got disfellowshipped, that could happen because you're breaking the rules. And if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, that, you could get in trouble for that. Now, for the benefit of anybody that might be listening to this rather than watching it, I'm just going to read some paragraphs that are from the Shepherd the Flock book. It says, unnecessary association with disfellowshipped or disassociated individuals. Willful, continued, unnecessary association with disfellowshipped or disassociated non-relatives, despite repeated counsel, would warrant judicial action. So that is where people get the idea that they could be getting in trouble. They could be disfellowshipped for talking to someone who is a non-relative because it says so. But it goes on to say, if a publisher in the congregation is known to have unnecessary association with disfellowshipped or disassociated relatives who are not in the household, elders should use the scriptures to counsel and reason with him. Review with him information from the Remain in God's Love book, page 241. If it is clear that a Christian is violating the spirit of the disfellowshipping decree in this regard and does not respond to counsel, he would not qualify for congregation privileges, which require one to be exemplary. He would not be dealt with judicially unless there is a persistent spiritual association or he persists in openly criticizing the disfellowshipping decision. So, as long as you don't talk about, hey, I think it's wrong that you got disfellowshipped to other people, and you don't do any sort of spiritual association, so you don't study the Watchtower together or anything like that, it should be fine. You could risk, again, losing some privileges, but if they don't know about it, no harm, no foul. So this is where we let people know this little bit of information because they're not privy to it because it's in the secret handbook that only the elders have. But you can still talk to your family. So it's something that I was thinking about, and I was watching a broadcast on XJW Live, and it just occurred to me that maybe we just need to inform people. That's part of what we do, is we inform people, we, educate as best we can, give our experiences, warn people. So let's do that. And I have seen videos in certain times where you have a script that's maybe a minute long or, 2 minutes long or something like that. And you have people do a portion of that. So they each have their little bit, their sentence or a paragraph or what have you. And you just sort of edit them in. And you've got different faces. You've got people that maybe you really like watching this particular XJW for their content and their personality and their speaking style. And there's others that in any case, you pick the ones that you like and you splice them together and you edit it with your own flair to make it, your own style of video. And boom, what we do is we get, say, a couple of dozen people who are interested in participating in this. And we create these videos. So the idea is I have a script that I created and passed out into the Discord, the Apostate Coalition Discord, and everybody's like, yeah, that works. So we all take a video of us doing the whole thing. We provide links in a pool, and then you just pick the ones that you like. You create your video, and then around about the same time, using SEO tools and that sort of thing, hashtags and that sort of thing, we release all these into the wild. And if everybody is spreading these around and there's all these videos that have the same information, it's got to catch somebody's attention. It's worth a shot. So that was the idea. So if you are interested, please email me at Apostate Coalition Official. I'll put that link in the show notes, and let me know if you're interested in participating in that, and we can go from there. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't really read this out loud. I created this script, but I haven't really read it out loud. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to paste that in, and just to show you an example, I'm going to probably redo it, but for the purposes of getting this started, getting the buzz going, I just want you to have an example of what I'm talking about. So I've always wanted to do voice work, but I know there's different ways to read things to have a different personality. So you might do it in sort of a straight tone. Who are Jehovah's Witnesses? You may think of those friendly people who visit your door with Watchtower magazines or who stand beside a literature cart. They speak of good news of God's kingdom and a future in paradise. However, they also speak of a coming destruction of the world that will see 99% of the world's population doomed. That's just a small portion of it. Or you could do it in more of like, a newscaster. So, who are Jehovah's Witnesses? You may think of these friendly people who visit your door with Watchtower magazines or who stand beside a literature cart. Just put your own flavor on it, however you want to read it. If you want to be sitting at a desk, okay. If you want to make it a little different, let's say you're driving in a car and, as a passenger, don't get a ticket and definitely don't get into an accident. You got the zooming background. Just make it interesting. Just do it your way. And then we can paste all these together. We can have all these cool videos, put the captions and stuff to grab people's attention and all kinds of nice transitions and stuff. And, I'm thinking probably on a portrait style so that it can be used in TikTok and Instagram and can be used here. And that way we can get it on different platforms. And there you go. So I hadn't really discussed what sort of a hashtag to make it. That's something we'll probably talk about in the Discord. So if you have any ideas about what that could be, please put that in the show notes. It could be something like JW shunning campaign or a shunning PSA or something. Whatever. Let's come up with some ideas. And I'm thinking it'd be great if we could do this in the next couple of weeks to give people enough time to, get the link, set aside a few minutes to just record. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can just do a straight read. So I'm going to put the actual script that we have in the show notes as well, so that you can look it over. Let me know if there's something you think this is, wildly wrong. Obviously I don't want to put it on any incorrect information in a big campaign and everybody's like, no, that's wrong. So if you know otherwise, something in there that should be changed, please let me know. And that is basically it. I just want to see some sort of a positive change. I've had ideas to do things, but, change is slow, but, you just got to you got to pick at it. You got to pick at it with that chisel and or chisel it. You know what I'm saying? You got to work at it, and, eventually good things will happen. So yeah, please participate. I would love to see a lot of people, even if you are not wanting to record anything. And if you're a PMO and you are like, yeah, this is great, I want to do this too, feel free to record your voice and use an avatar or just some stock footage of something happening, of, whatever, and make that your contribution. And if you just want to disseminate this information and just share it and post it on your various platforms, spread it around. That's what we want. We want to see this stuff get out to enough people, that there's enough buzz, that, there's a lot of viewers, a lot of people have seen these on different platforms, and people are just aware. And it's also going to, make people who aren't being shunned or aren't Jehovah's Witnesses aware of what is happening to people. That is it. So I'm going to shut up now and let you go. So catch you next time. Thanks. Bye.